Are players rejecting the new 2024 version of Dungeons & Dragons?
No thanks, I'm gonna go home.
Before we dive into some alarming new numbers, why not take a second to hit those like and subscribe buttons to help us keep these videos coming? And then, let's talk about the future of D&D.
Let's just do this.
Jessica Lanzillo, the VP of Franchise and Product for Dungeons & Dragons, revealed some big milestones for the new 2024 version of D&D. But in doing so, where she pointed out achievements like the 2024 Player's Handbook matching the first 3 years of sales of the 2014 Player's Handbook in all languages in just 4 months, she also revealed that over 3.6 million characters had been built on D&D Beyond using the new 2024 rules since they became available. And while all of that may sound very good on the surface, when you dig a bit deeper, you can start to see some major issues for the D&D 2024 rule set. First of all, let's talk briefly about those sales numbers. You may not remember this given how big the Dungeons & Dragons brand is now, but in 2014, the game was in a very bad place. 4th edition had largely been considered a flop in terms of fan response and sales numbers, barely lasting 5 years and having only 65,000 paying subscribers to their D&D Insider service, which is basically the precursor to D&D Beyond, where you could build characters and, do little things like that. And for comparison, D&D Beyond currently sits at about 19 million subscribers. During the 4th edition era, Pathfinder also took off, rivaling D&D in sales for many years when it came to the TTRPG market, and basically things were looking increasingly bleak for the D&D brand. So when they say it took 3 years for the 2014 version to match the sales they are getting in 4 months with the 2024 version, that should be expected. As in the 10 years since the launch of 2014, we've seen the explosion of D&D actual play content like Critical Role, and the D&D game making its way into more and more popular culture on hit shows like Stranger Things, and we've had a whole pandemic which helped boost the brand further with the rise of online play, and all of these things basically push the D&D brand to heights way, way beyond what they could have imagined back in 2014. The game is just exponentially bigger now than it was back then. But the sales numbers not being nearly as impressive as it might appear is not the real issue. The real issue that reveals the players appear to be refusing to move on to 2024 is that 3.6 million characters made in D&D Beyond figure. And that sounds like a lot of characters, but when you realize that most D&D Beyond users are character goblins like me that have half a dozen or more characters under their belt or in production at any one time, and that the user base is around 19 million subscribers, that number is actually pretty shockingly small. It's pretty safe to assume that the average D&D Beyond subscriber has 4 or more active characters on their account, so with only 3.6 million characters made in the new rules so far, you can roughly math that out to be about 1 in 19 of the 19 million subscribers having made a character in the new rule set, which is shockingly low. That means about 6% of the D&D Beyond subscribers have made the jump to 2024, which is not a great vote of confidence for the new 2024 rule set. And while some of this can be attributed to players just sort of waiting for their current 2014-based campaigns to wind down to try the new rule set out, there are a huge amount of D&D Beyond users who just love creating characters for future campaigns or just for fun, and the fact that such a tiny percentage have made that jump to the new 2024 rule set after a full 5 months have passed is not a great sign. Some of the blame may also fall on the nature of 2024's not quite a new edition strategy, where it both does and kind of does not work with the 2014 rule system. It's just awkward to try and combine the two systems. Despite Wizards of the Coast assertions that the games are fully compatible, it just doesn't seem like DMs and players are having an easy time making that gel. And frankly, it just seems like this attempt to make a new edition that isn't really a new edition has led to more headaches and homebrewing than a lot of players want to deal with, at least for now. It's beginning to look like a clean break with a new standalone edition might have been a better approach to a 2024 rule set than this sort of semi-compatible update D&D gave us instead. But with the Monster Manual coming out next month, and hopefully more adventure modules heading our way this year than just Vecna Eve of Ruin, Wizards of the Coast may have time to pump up those D&D Beyond numbers yet. But for the time being, it appears that a lot of fans have just decided that D&D 2024 is not worth their time and effort, at least not yet. So have you made the jump to 2024 characters in D&D Beyond? Let us know down in the comments, and don't forget to hit those like and subscribe buttons.